This week's episode of the Mayo TV show is sponsored by Healy Bars and Restaurants.
Falter over Cordial, you're welcome indeed to another edition of the programme. As always, we're looking forward to going over to Manchester to join Martin Logan, who's more great stories featuring the Irish community all across the UK. Now, over the coming weeks, we're bringing you a series of programmes from Malaysia in association with Liam Healy of Healy Bars and Restaurant. And this week, we're in the capital, Kuala Lumpur, to meet some very, very successful Mayo people. And also the story of a remarkable nun who's received the country's highest award.
I'm an IT guy by training, really. I went to Sligo RTC, I done technical engineering. I started off fixing computers, I suppose, got into the banks and never looked back since, yeah.
And you're originally from Bal?
I am indeed, yeah. Kelshmark Road, Bal.
And is there anybody at home now?
Yeah, I still have a number of brothers in Bal. My parents passed away, but I still have a number of brothers in Bal. I have a brother in Cork and a couple of brothers in Dublin, so we're plenty around Ireland, yeah.
I can imagine a job like this now, and you have a lot of staff working under you as well. A highly pressurable job.
It is, Henry, it is, yeah. Look, when you look after the bank's payments, you got $100 million payments going out almost on the hour. You got ATMs all over the country. I get called from everything from a broken toilet to a car or a branch or $1 million payment or $100 million payment. So it can be stressful, yeah.
And how do you unwind them from the pressures of banking then?
Apart from the obvious, go to Healy Max, I tend to do a lot of cycling. I'm cycling quite a bit now, do Saturday, Sunday morning and maybe once or twice during the week. Yeah,
and it's not an easy place to cycle because I know you had a serious incident there when you started cycling here in the city.
I think in 2012 it was Chinese New Year. I went out for 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a cycle, the roads were empty. A bus essentially drove over me. He probably knew me, Henry.
You refused him alone or something?
Yeah, I must have owed him money or something, yeah.
But it was a quite serious accident, wasn't it? You were in intensive care for days and it took you a while to get back.
I spent over a week in ICU, yeah, punctured lung and broken jaw, and my face was a bit worse than it normally is. But anyway, you recover, Henry, you crack on and get back to work and you don't let it bother you too much, yeah.
And you're back cycling again now?
I am. I started off January last year. I did a couple of 1,000 miles last year. I've already done 1,000 this year. It's 2 months in, so I'm happy with that.
And finally, you haven't gotten back home. You've done some investment back home as well, which is nice to see. It's not all out here. You've put money back into Ireland as well over the last number of years.
Yeah, Bravey House came up in 2015. For me, it was a kind of investment of passion more than anything else. It's worked out very well. It's a great investment. It's a great business now. The hotel is flying. But really, when I look back, all of the family events were in Bravey House over the years. We only really went somewhere else if we couldn't get into Bravey. So for me, it was a bit of a no-brainer. So it was an investment of the heart, really.
Yeah. But it paid off for you.
I know it's doing well. It's flying. The hotel's great and the local people are very supportive and we've got great staff. So thanks to everybody for that.
We are in manufacturing formwork for high-rise buildings mostly. So we work sort of all over Asia, Middle East, a bit in the US, South America, and we've started in Africa now as well.
Now, you got very involved with the GA out here. When you came here first, there was no GA, but now it's a big sporting events, but especially with the Asian Games.
It is, yeah. I mean, the whole of Asia now, I think, there's a club nearly in most big cities in KL, and we just came back today actually from Johor. We played in the tournament yesterday down in Johor, which is on the border with Singapore. So in Malaysia we have two clubs. Singapore have a massive club, but all over Asia, like for the Asian Gaelic Games, we bring in about 65 teams, and there's about 200 games of Gaelic football played over the weekend. Some a little bit of hurling and a small bit of camogie as well.
And these are not Irish people now that are playing the game.
Some, yeah, like I suppose for the men they'd be 70 or 80% Irish. For the ladies, probably it'd be the opposite. Maybe only 30% Irish and 70% non-Irish. Our own club last year played in the senior games, and our senior team only has one Irish player in it. But the other girls have played for a long time and are a good standard.
And your own team, what's the name of the club?
Orang Era is the name of the club. It's Orang is a Malaysian word for people, so Irish people is the club.
And sponsorship is very important, and we're here at Healy Max. They sponsored the club.
They do, yeah. Lima's been very good to us. Healy Max have been very good to us. I suppose since they started the pub business here in 2008, they've been a huge supporter of the club, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's stuff like that keeps the club going.
We do manufacturing. I do turnkey manufacturing. 2 facilities here. We employ roughly about 1,000 people. At the moment, we're about 960. Towards the summer, when more orders come in, when the busy time of year come, we'll probably go up to about 1,100. Yeah.
And is this home for the foreseeable future now?
Our kids have all grown up here. You know, my oldest son, who turned 18 there a few days ago, his first day of school was in Malaysia, and so this is their home. This is where they want to come back to. As much as they love going to Achill and to Claremorris, where my wife's people are from, they want to come back because they got all their friends here and their infrastructure is here in Malaysia. So it's home.
We're in Healy Max. This is the newest Healy Max pub now in Kuala Lumpur. This seems to be a meeting place for all the expats on a regular basis. Like today now, very busy here as well. It's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday, yes, it is. It's a very busy day. But Healy Max has got, you know, Liam Healy has got he's got a great formula going here. You know, this is a real local pub. You know, or the Healy Max are local pubs. His staff gets to know the local people who come in, and we love coming here. And of course, you know, if you're going to come for a drink, you're sure that you're always going to meet someone that you can sit down and have a chat with. And if you don't, you know, Benji or the staff here will sit down and have the chat with you as well.
Anybody you'd like to say this to back home and say hello to?
Oh well, geez, I'd like to say hello to everyone on Achill Island and to everyone in Claremorris, and yeah, so we look forward to seeing you all soon. Hopefully the coronavirus won't hold us back and we'll all be allowed to go home and see you this summer.
We also met up with a remarkable 92-year-old nun, Sister Enda Ryan, who received the country's highest award for her work and dedication to education.
I suppose it was something very new, very, you know, well, a great challenge to go and to start to school from nothing. But I suppose by that stage, I know that I had to have faith and trust in God and that He would be with me, you know, even though I'm a poor little campong girl, they would say it here, from a little village in County Limerick, from the foot of the Galtee Mountains. But that was God's choice, I suppose, for my life.
And for your work here, you received one of the highest honours that could be bestowed on a person here. And for somebody that's not from the area as well, for an Irish person, it's kind of rare.
For some reason, maybe because I'm a little bit more active and was seen, well, being very Irish in the way I behave, I suppose also, the knowledge came to our local Sultan of Selangor, and he gave me the title Datin Paduka.
And that's a very special honour, isn't it?
Of course it is, yes. I mean, for my order also, and generally for the church, you know, because he would be Muslim and the head of the Muslim people in this state, and to choose a Catholic nun, for him also was something very daring, if you like, first time that it would have happened.
Well, as I said, you're a bit of a celebrity here, and you were even asked to come and officially open the Healy Max, one of the newest Healy Max, where we are today.
Well, I mean, I just came for a lunch, and then Liam, the owner, said, "Sister, would you mind cutting the ribbon?" And it happened that day I had my veil on and all that. And I thought, I wonder what people are going to think if they see the photo of the Holy Nun cutting the ribbon to the pub. But anyway, it was, in general, I mean, God wants us to enjoy life also. And especially I'm a Franciscan. You know, St. Francis would have, had his finger on many things, and bringing joy and happiness to others would be one of our priorities.
And I know that you've been known to sing a song now and again. I know the St. Patrick's Day Ball here, which is a very big event, one of the biggest in Kuala Lumpur. You say Grace Oscailga,
Oh, yeah,
and you sing a
that's
little song as well.
Yeah, that's right. So everybody knows when Irish eyes are smiling, Danny Boy, like all that sort.
So would you mind giving us a verse of it?
All right. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. Through the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. But when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they'd steal your heart away.
Boolabos. Great stuff.
Fulcherage to part 2 of the programme, where we're continuing our tour of Healy Max bars and restaurants across Malaysia, where we meet up with some of the staff and customers. But first, we caught up with Ireland's #1 Elvis impersonator, Greg Traynor.
Well, my good friend Liam Healy of the Healy Max group, where we are tonight, he saw me performing in south of Spain back years ago, and he was after buying a premises here, and he said, "Would I come and sing a few songs for him out here?" And out of that it started, and 8 years later we're still here.
You come out in the spring, and
Yeah.
you come out again then later on in the year, do you?
Sometimes in November for a couple of weeks. I come here for nearly guts of a month and in February, and I go home just before Patrick's Day back to Ireland. And Liam's involved in Brafey House there in Mayo as well, and I perform there regular. And I'll be there every Tuesday night, July and August in the summer this year.
Oh, fantastic. Brilliant. And how long have you been doing the Elvis thing now, Greg?
I'll be 20 years at it next year. Be 20 years. Before that I was playing with Keith and Lorraine at the Showband Show. And for 13 and a half years before that I was with John Hogan and country band. But I've been doing the Elvis thing now 19 years, and it has taken me all across the world, from Malaysia to America to Australia to Hong Kong to Dubai. Elvis seems to live on in these places.
So anybody coming over to this part of the country, because there's a big expat community here in Kuala Lumpur as well, isn't there? A lot of Irish.
There is a lot of Irish around, yeah, and they're all working. It's a big sort of gas and oil area, and they're all working in the gas and oil industry. And it's hot. It's hot here all year round. It's so close to the equator. It never varies between 32 and 35 degrees. Today you were around, it was 36 degrees in the middle of the day.
It was hot.
When you were sticking on an Elvis suit in 36 degrees, watch out.
Yeah. So you'll continue to come here for the next couple of years and that, Greg, because you go down so well here.
Hopefully they'll have me back. You know, I've sort of built up a little bit of a base here. People come to see me every year, so that's great. Hopefully it'll continue for another while.
We'll keep them rocking tonight.
We'll keep them rocking and keep them rolling, that's right.
What's in my soul, but what's wrong with me? I met you like a man on a fuzzy tree. Brown say I'm acting, but I'm wild as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up.
I actually think it's a very authentic Irish pub. It's the most authentic Irish pub you will find outside of Ireland, like, you know. The food is good, the staff are brilliant, it's a great place, there's a great camaraderie here, like, you know. And all the Irish, the GA come here with the matches. It's an excellent place to come just to get a bit of home. That's it, you know, so it's a really nice place to come to.
Well, I think a lot's got to do with Liam Healy himself, right? Because he's the guy who's stamped his personality on each of the pubs, and they're very Irish. Now, you might only get 5-10% of the people coming to the pub who are actually Irish, but it feels Irish to everybody else in terms of its hospitality, it's great crack, there's great food and drink. It's just a very comfortable place to be, and that's why I think they've been so successful, not only here but all over the world, and that comes back to Liam Healy and his ability to be able to bring that to life.
Just the drinking culture here in Malaysia, what's it like?
Well, it's because you've got 60% plus of the population here who are Muslim, it doesn't tend to be very high in Muslim communities, right? But in Chinese, Indian communities, and then the expat communities, it tends actually to be very similar to other markets. And I think that's why, again, people flock to the Irish pub, because it's, again, like coming home for many of them.
And of course, we have a Coca-Cola presence in County Mayo as well.
We have a rather big plant there in Ballina, so a long association between Coca-Cola and Ireland, and the west of Ireland, of course. So, and long may it continue.
It's a beautiful place to hang out. It's the best pub in Malaysia. Every time I go anywhere in Ipoh, Penang, KL, I only go to Healy. It's a beautiful place. I'm an Indian. I think the Irish has a little bit of the Indian culture, so I fit in very, very well. I love this place. I always come by myself, with my friends, with my buddies, with my family. This is my family, my wife, my girls. It's a good family pub. It's a good pub for everybody to hang out. It's a beautiful place.
I'm from Tullalise. The next town over to me is a place called Charleville, and there's a hotel, the Charleville Park Hotel. And I met Liam for an interview, and we kind of got on fairly well from the start. And he asked me to move out to Kuala Lumpur, and I'm still here.
And did you have any concerns about moving out here?
I suppose I didn't know much about the place, but from what Liam had said, he'd been here over 20 years, and he said from the day that I landed, he said I love the place, and he was right.
And you started on the ground floor like an ordinary worker?
Yes, I did, yeah. I started behind the bar, I was in the kitchen for Liam for a bit as well. He trains as well, like, you know.
And you know lots of the clientele personally?
Oh, I would, yeah. We build it on customer relationship. People that want to come back and have a chat and things. It's, I suppose, running a bar. That's you kind of have to be there yourself. Fellas kind of come in for the chat and things with you and have a beer and things and just enjoy it.
I believe you have a Mayo corner here in the bar.
Yeah. We do. Joe's corner over there, so it's quite famous when it's close to home for Liam. So it is.
And all the different paraphernalia you have here as well. That was all brought in for the opening.
It was, yeah. It was all brought in from the opening. All flew in from Ireland. So it's just travelled a long way across the world to be put up on these walls here. So
I've been here in Malaysia now for the past 15 years. I come from Belfast, and I'm working here now in the telecommunications business. I spend a reasonable amount of time in Healy Max. The big reason I come to Healy's is because it's a real Irish pub run by actually a real Irish man from Mayo. So the atmosphere here is as good, if not better, than any of the bars that I've ever been in Ireland. So it's a great place to socialise. The staff are fantastic. They know everyone. They know, it's a bit like Cheers in that they know what you want and they bring it to you immediately. So it's a good, fun place to come to.
Many Healy Max in total?
Well, in total, we have in KL itself we have 5, and then we have one in Ipoh, which is 200 kilometers away from Kuala Lumpur, heading north, and then further up, still heading north, is in Penang. We have another one more Healy Max, so that's 7 in total. Yeah, so I'm traveling to all the outlets to make sure all okay.
And your clientele, what would they be made up of? The type of customers you get?
Well, most of the customer that we have in the pubs, most of them are expat. I have to say, most of them is expat. Like in Ipoh itself, is very local place, so we have lots of local there. But in KL itself, we still have a lot of expat tourists and local. As you know, Malaysia is a multiracial country, so we have all the mix here. We have a good mix.
People that want to come to Malaysia on holidays, is it an expensive country?
Well, it's not an expensive country. Like the city center itself, talking about high-class 6-7 star hotel, could cost you only €100 a night, the room.
Maximum.
You won't go that more than that. And then We have lots of public transport. We have the free bus over the city centre. So it's not that expensive.
Do you intend to stay with Healy Max for the foreseeable future?
Yes, for definite. Yes. I mean, being a Malaysian, in Malaysia, I never met an Irish guy that really looked after me very well. I mean, as you know, as I said just now, where I come from, I didn't expect this Irishman will bring me up to this level. I mean, we do works together, we work as a family. Even though he is the boss, I'm the general manager, even since I'm the driver, he don't have the word, what should I say, a class distinction. He don't have that. I never have that situation with him. He always treat me as one of his family. I feel like I'm Irish sometimes.
Are you allowed to enjoy a pint if you wanted in Healy Max?
Well, yes, no problem. I even have to drink more sometimes.
Well, we'll have one tonight anyway, Faisal.
Yeah. Henry, yes, that's definitely for sure.
About Ipoh actually is more than half a million. More than half a million people here, and the people here comes from Malay, Indian, Chinese, and also a lot of expats here.
You speak 4 languages, don't you?
Yes, I do speak 4 languages. I speak Tamil, I speak Chinese, I speak Malay, and of course English.
So it's really a busy place, yeah?
Yes, it's a busy place. We are actually open 365 days. We never closed.
And how long has Healy Max been here?
Healy Max has been in Ipoh for almost 8.5 years.
And it's getting bigger and better all the time.
Yes, it is. It's getting bigger all the time.
Okay. Well, look, you have a busy evening ahead of you, so we'll let you get back to your work. And thank you for talking to us.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I was born in Malaysia, yes. I'm half Thai, half Malaysian Indian, so best of both worlds. So I introduce dishes like curries when I first started here. I introduced some Thai dishes, some Indian curries, and then I stayed 7 years later.
And what about the Irish dishes? Do they still like Guinness stew and cottage pie?
Lamb stew, which sells very well, Guinness steak pie, and shepherd's pie. So these are the 3 main Irish specialty that I tweaked the recipe. I do that, so no complaints. In fact, I have like, it's better than before. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations on the wonderful food, and long may you continue here in Healy Max serving and cooking great fun.
I don't think Mr. Liam Healy will let me go anywhere.
And I hope not.
Thank you.
I currently live in New Zealand, where I'm working as a doctor in plastic surgery. I'm here in Kuala Lumpur for a conference, and I'm in Healy Max because we are post-presentation and it's the most lively bar on the street that we found, so this is why we're here.
We'll do an Irish toast. Slaughter!
Well, it's a one for the money, 2 for the show. 3 to get ready now, go, can't go, don't you? Step on my blue suede shoes. You do a fling away all of my blue suede shoes. Hey, baby, a blue suede shoes. A blue suede shoes. Blue suede shoes. A blue suede shoes. Do anything away all of my blue suede shoes.
This week's episode of the iMayo TV show is sponsored by Healy Max Bars and Restaurants.